Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you again with another program for the DeKalb County Library System. And warm weather is trying to make its way across the United States and I'm sure other parts of the world. So I wanted to, it's spring here, and I wanted to just kind of celebrate that a little bit. So I thought we would do something really, really easy, simple, and pretty that you can just maybe just put on and wear to the beach or wherever. Nice and colorful. We're going to use some mother of pearl little irregular chips to make this bracelet, and a little wire work, kind of a snail pattern to also go along with the beach theme. So we're going to do that. It's very easy, and it's something that you can do yourself, you can do with your kids, and then you can just put it on. It looks really good and go. It's going to be a nice, simple project for anybody and everybody to enjoy. So the things that you're going to need are your cutters, your square or chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, some little bead chips, little colorful mother of pearl chips is what we're going to be using today, and some 20 gauge wire and jump rings. That's it. The components consist of 20 gauge wire, bead chips, and jump rings. That's it. We're going to be making our own clasp, so that's all we need. Simple, 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 easy, easy, easy. Let's get going. And just ignore that. No, Virginia. Okay, now let's get going. So what we're going to do is take our little bead chips, and we're going to create little links, and then we're going to make little snail links like this guy. Isn't he cute? And then we're going to finish it off with our own little wrapped clasp. Oh, is that blurry? Yeah, I think that's good. So we're going to finish it off with our own little wrapped, wire wrapped clasp. This is one of my favorite kinds that we make because it's a separate piece, and it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. And so let's get going. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our 20 gauge wire. And I think the first thing that we'll make, the other thing that you need is a ruler. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, because you're going to have to measure out your wire. So what's that? Oh, a little piece of wire stuck on there. So what we need for a little snail is about 3 inches. That is my measurement. In order to get this little snail that measures out to be just about 5/8 of an inch, I needed 3 inches of wire. You can make it bigger or smaller to your heart's content. It's entirely up to you, but I'm going with the little 3-inch guy. All right, so I cut my little piece of 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to start by making my little swirly thing that I've got going on there. So we're going to take our wire, we're going to grab the very tip of it with the tip of our pliers, like so, and we're going to make a small loop. I like to put a little bend in it before I move it back down my pliers and make a little loop for the center. The loop doesn't have to be that big. It's just the start. Of my little swirl. So I'm going about 1/3 of the way down my pliers in order to start my spiral. So there's the start of my spiral, and it doesn't need to meet the back because I'm going to make it a little bit of an open spiral. So it just needs to almost touch the back of my wire. And then I'm going to continue to wrap around the wire around itself. So what I'm going to do for that is grab my square pliers for that. And a word of suggestion: in order to keep your wire from getting marks all over it. Two things. One, just don't grip it so tightly. You really don't have to grip it so tightly that you put little marks on it. Two, you can also get some of that little coating. There's some coating that you can get from the craft store. I've had this on here forever, which is why it's starting to peel off. But it's just a little dip that you can get, and you dip your pliers in it, and it coats the pliers with a kind of a rubbery substance that you can use to hold your wire, and it doesn't put any indentations or dents or anything in it. It's really pretty neat. It's very temporary. Like I said, this has been on here for a long time. As a matter of fact, I have another one that you can see is really, if I can get it off my little hanging thing here, you can see it's really starting to peel off. And once that happens, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Once that happens, you can just peel it off like so. And dip it again. It's just a little, it's kind of rubbery, and I don't know what it's made of. I just know it works. So what's this thing doing over here? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my square pliers. I'm going to use the kind that has the dip on it, and I'm going to grasp the side of my loop, and I'm just going to start wrapping the wire around itself so that I can get a little coil going here. And again, it doesn't have to be tight. It's very, very organic. Just making a nice open spiral. And there's two ways that you can do it. You can use the hand that's holding your plier hand, the hand that's holding your pliers, and you can maneuver it that way, or you can just hold it with your plier hand and use the other hand to wrap, or you can do a combination of both. Either way works. Whatever way is more comfortable for you, that's the way I would suggest that you do it. I'm going to look at this because I want it to be about the same as the other one. So I'm going to squeeze those little rings together a little closer to make my little snail a little smaller and a little closer in size to the other one. Yeah. And there we go. Okay, so I've got my little spiral. It's a little bigger than the other one, so I'm going to take a little bit of this off. Just going to clip a tiny bit of it off. And now I'm going to make my little loop. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers. Doesn't have to be too big a loop, and if you're trying to decide how to match it exactly up to that one, just slide that loop over your pliers, and that gives you an indication of where you should place your wire when you make your loop. Neat, huh? Nice little hack. Now, one thing that I like to do is start to make a little bend with the tip of my pliers before I make my loop, because that gives me a nice sharp curve when I actually do make my loop. It's already curved towards the back of my wire back here. Otherwise, it gives it a little oval shape if you don't have it pointing in the direction that you want it to go. And I find that making a little tiny curve in the end of your wire helps keep the wire, the loop round. I don't know where I got that. I don't know if somebody said that or if I just made it up. Probably got it from somebody. But anyway, there is my little snail. Kind of goes along with the beach theme, don't you think? So there's my little link, my one link. And the next thing I'm going to make is my link with my beads. So I'm just going to take, I want it to be about an inch long. No, it doesn't have to be any longer than that. That's the way, that's what I'm doing. You can make it, so you can use fewer beads and make it shorter link and more links, but each one's shorter, or you can make it a little bit longer. I probably wouldn't go more than an inch for a bracelet because you don't want it to be too long and awkward on your wrist. So the way that I decide where to cut my wire, if those of you who are getting kits, you're going to have a nice long length of wire, and I would just leave it. I wouldn't cut it. I do cut off, say, 3 inches or something like that to make my links, but then I end up losing little bits of wire, and those little bits of wire can add up. So instead of doing that, I would just go ahead and leave it on my spool, knowing that it's probably going to take about 2.5 inches to 3 inches for each link. So that if you want to cut it off and do them individually, you can. But one way to determine is to go ahead and start putting the beads on that you want on there. And I'm just doing it random. Just different colors. Let's see, let's put this pretty blue one on. I can find the hole, there it is. Then I'm going to put this bigger one. This is one of those regular shaped ones that's a little bit bigger. I'm going to put that in the center. Then I'm going to put this really bright orange one on. And it's really neat because they're all cut differently. They're chips. So there's really no rhyme or reason as to how they are pierced or drilled. Okay, let's put that on there. And we want on the end. I have another orange one there. I think I'll, you know what? I think I'll take this green one off and put this green one on. I like that green one. Where's the hole? There it is. Excuse me. Here you are. And I'll put this blue one on. See what that looks like. What do you think? Pretty? Or should I put a pink one on? I have a pink one over here, a red one over here. Let's see, I think I'll put this pink next to the green. Oh, for heaven's sake. In a little hole, there we go. What do you think? I like it. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's see how long that is, because that looks a little longer than an inch. It is 1 1/8 inches. Do I want to take some off, or do I want to just leave it the way it is? This is free form. Doesn't have to be a specific length. I like that orange one. I don't want to get rid of that. Let's see. I think I will just leave it. It'll just be an extra 1/8 of an inch. That's fine. So now I'm going to make my, that's the fun of free form. You can just decide as you go along. So now I'm going to make my little loop to connect it to my jump rings. Again, I'm going to start it with the little tiny curve on the end, and then I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down my pliers to make my loop, and just kind of rotate and keep rotating until I have a closed loop. And I went a little overboard, so I'm going to go in with the tip of my pliers. Let's see if you can see that, and just pull it back a little bit so that it's nicely resting against the back of my wire. There we go. Slide my beads down to the loop. Where are the rest of them? There they are. Get back over here. Slide my beads down. There we go. Yes. And I'm going to cut it off to make my other loop. Now, just for reference, it takes about a little less than ½ an inch to make a loop, about 3/8 of an inch. I just kind of eyeball it, but you can actually measure it with your ruler. And I'm saying it takes 3/8 of an inch because that's because of the size of loop that I'm making. It depends on the size loop that you want. I'm going 1/3 of the way down my pliers and making my loop, and I know that takes about 3/8 of an inch. All pliers are not created equal, so you're just going to have to use some trial and error to determine how much you need for your loops. Okay, so I want my loop to go the same direction as the one on the other side. So I'm going to go back in with my pliers, make a little bend in the end of my wire, slide down to the about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, clamp down, rotate, open, roll my pliers back, clamp down again, rotate a little bit, roll it back again, and rotate until I have a closed loop. There we go. And there's my other link that I'm going to attach to my little snail. Now, as you may have guessed, I've already started this. So now we're going to attach everything. And in order to do that, I just need my jump rings. And I've already opened my jump rings, which is really bad because I should show you how to open and close your jump rings. So let's do that. Let's find one that is not already open in this little package over here. All right, let me give you a couple of options. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our square pliers, our flat pliers, and we're going to grab one side of your jump ring right next to where the opening is. Here's my opening, I think. Boy, it's closed up so nicely, I can't even find it. Put my pliers on one side of the opening that's here. I'm going to take my thumb and push down to open my jump ring. So now it's nicely open and it can be easily closed. The other way to do it is to take my pliers. Again, rest my pliers, just grasp one side of my jump ring right next to the opening. If I can find the opening, there it is. Here's my opening. Take another pair of pliers and on the other side and twist. And again, nice open jump ring. The third way is to just use your fingers. You can just twist that way. The one thing that you don't want to do is pull your loop open apart, because once you do that, you ruin the little shape of it. And it's really hard to get it to go back to a perfect circle shape if you pulled it apart. So you want to just give it a little twist and open it on its side. All right, so now we're going to put everything together with our jump rings. So I'm going to go ahead and take my jump rings. And I'm going to put one jump ring through the loop at the end of my mother of pearl link. And I'm going to put the other one. And then I'm going to take the other link, which is my little snail, and I'm going to put it through the jump ring as well. Now, you want to make sure that you have space down here to house your jump ring without it being too tight. You want it to have some movement. So if you need to, you can adjust the little rings so that there's a nice opening in there for your jump ring to rest in and still have some little wiggle room. Literally have some wiggle room. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my little snail. And I'm going to close my jump ring. And because I think it helps with the security of the piece, and I think it looks better, I add a second jump ring. I think it makes the design look less like you're just linking these pieces together and more like it's a definite, deliberate design. So I'm going to take the other jump ring that I've already put on my mother of pearl link, and I'm going to link that into my little snail. Make sure you don't link the two jump rings together. You don't want that. They need to be completely separate. And now you have your link. And now we're going to attach it to the rest of our bracelet, which I've already started. Yes, let's do that. So I'm going to take another jump ring, attach it to my snail, add my mother of pearl link, and close it up. Another jump ring, slide it on my snail and on my mother of pearl link, and close. And there we go. Isn't that great? Now all I need to do is make my clasp, which is going to be this little, again, a little kind of a shepherd's hook, a wrapped shepherd's hook. So I'm going to take one of my little mother of pearl chips. Which one do I want to use? I think I'm going to use the pink one. Yeah, let's use this pink guy. And we're going to make a little wrapped clasp. So now I'm going to get about 4 inches of my 20 gauge wire. And again, it depends on the size of your bead. My bead is about 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, just a little over 1/4 of an inch. About 3/8 of an inch in size. Let's get that over there in the camera where you can see it. It's about 3/8 of an inch in size. And so I'm going to use about 4.5 inches of wire. That's plenty to wrap with. I just wanted to have a nice little wrap around the bead. And you can make that center wrap bigger or smaller, depending on what look you're going for. So what I'm going to do is take my bead, and because these are, see, this is not, these are drilled really weird. So it's kind of going to be an interesting little wrap. So I'm going to, it's because it's a chip, it's irregular. So it's not supposed to look like a perfectly round bead. So what I'm going to do is slide my bead down a little more than halfway down my bead, just a little more than halfway. I mean, down my wire. Bead is a little more than halfway down my wire, and I'm going to bring the long tail over to meet the other tail, and then keep going all the way around until I get back to the other side where I started, all the way around. Okay, and then I'm going to follow that around with the other side. It's going to go follow it. And notice how I'm leaving a little space between the two wires. I'm not ganging them up or crossing them over. I want to make sure that I have a nice little spiral when I finish. Okay. So I keep on wrapping. Just keep wrapping. Wires side by side. Until I have the desired look. Now I want to make sure I have about 3/4 to an inch of wire left in order to make my shepherd's hook. Okay, just keep wrapping. The wires are on opposite sides. So this is what I have. Nice little wrap. And now I'm going to even it out. This one's obviously a lot shorter than this side. So I'm going to go ahead and snip off this side to match about the size of the other side. And this one is about 7/8 of an inch. So we're going to do the same thing on that side. Just hold on to that tail there so it doesn't get away from me. And so this is what I have. Now I'm going to make my shepherd's hook. The first thing I'm going to do is make a small loop on the end, and that loop is going to follow the direction that I've been wrapping this around. So I've been wrapping it this way, and my loop is going to go under the same direction. And it's going to be the tiniest of loops that you can make. So I'm going to grab the very tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers, and I'm going to make a 3/4 loop, meaning I don't want it to go all the way around until it's closed. I'm just going to loop it until I get about 3/4 of the way around, like so. Then I'm going to take my square pliers and I'm going to close that loop up. I'm going to smash the bottom of it where it's open up towards the head of my wire until I have just a little nub. So I have a teeny tiny little nub there. And that's not something you can do with your round nose pliers because it's too small for even the very tip of your pliers. You just need to go 3/4 of the way around and then close it up. And now I'm going to make my shepherd's hook. So I'm going to take my wire and slide it down to about the back of my pliers. And I'm going to rotate. This is what I call the bottom of the loop. This is what I call the top, where the flat edge is. We're going to wrap around. We're going to wrap the wire around in the direction of the flat edge. So here's the bottom. We're going to wrap this around towards our shell and just twist that. until we have a nice little shepherd's hook. So that's one half, that's one side. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, okay, again, my first little tiny loop is going to go the same direction that my wrapping has gone. So my wrapping has been going this way. My loop is going to continue in the same direction. So take my pliers, grab the very tip of my wire, like so, and make a teeny tiny little 3/4 loop. Here's my 3/4 loop. Take my flat square pliers and squeeze my loop until I have a nice little nub. And there we are. And now it's time for me to make my shepherd's hook. Take my pliers, slide my wire back to the back of my pliers, and rotate towards the head of the other loop that we have here. So there's the head. And let's rotate that around. Until we have another shepherd's hook. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is our wrapped clasp. And it kind of goes along with our swirly theme that we've got going here. I think it does. Okay, so now what we're going to do is attach it to our little, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to turn one of these around. Why? Because, no, I don't. That's right. Oh, that was the extra thing that I was doing on this. I'm going to leave this to dangle a little bit. You might look at it and say, man, that's awfully big for a bracelet. That's because we're going to hook it over here and have a little dangle. Okay, so in order to fasten this, it's very, very simple. All you do is attach it to my last little snail. And I like to rest this against the back of the wire so that it doesn't come out too easily. Snap that in, doesn't come out. And then attach it wherever is comfortable on your arm. So I can attach it there, and I have a nice little dangle. Isn't that cute? And if I need to, if my wrist is not that big, I can move it over to another one. And there we are. I have an even longer dangle. Isn't that neat? So easy and nice and colorful, lightweight. Perfect for spring and summer. The perfect way to get back into some color after all of this winter stuff that we've had going. And I really love these wrapped clasps because they just go along with the flow of the design without really looking like a clasp. Isn't that neat? I mean, I love it. Let me put it on. Why not? Let me try on my creation. and show you what it looks like. Come on over there. Okay. Now let's see, where do I want to hook it? Where do I want to hook it up? Let's do it the other way. There we go. You know what? Let me see. I made this. Let's see how long this is, because my wrist is about 7.5 inches. And this is a good 10 inches long, which means I'm going to have a very nice little dangle. There it is. There's my bracelet. Dangle and all. In fact, I can even move it over a little bit if I want. If I want it a little less loose. I know some people like their, and you know what? And I can wear it like that. Oh, that is cute. I do like that. I do like that a lot. I can wear it down like that with the dangle, or I can wear it this way with the dangle on my arm. Ooh, cute, 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 cute. Okay, anyway, so much for that. This has been our program. I'm going to unfurl this and maybe move it up, move it over a little bit and make my dangle a little bit longer. So let's just fasten it over here. And now see, oh, even longer dangle. Pretty neat. I like mine a little tighter. That is cute. That is so cute. I love it. Either way is fine. Either way works for me. And if I want to, I can always loop this up here. So that I don't have it hanging down. I just have a little loop. So I just have a little bit of a dangle, but not a long dangle. Anyway, there's many, many ways that you can fasten this to wear it whatever way you want, because we have all kinds of little loops and jump rings that can be used for hooks instead of your standard hook and clasp design. I'm trying to get it off. There we go. But yeah, there we go. There's my little bracelet. I love this. So lightweight, so colorful, so pretty. So spring. Yay. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our program for today. And get to the other camera. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked it, and I hope that you will take advantage of the opportunity to do something a little bit colorful. And it's so easy. It takes those 3 little components. You make your little shell fastening. You make your little mother of pearl link. You add your jump rings. You put it all together, and you've got a bracelet. I don't know what could be easier than that, and what could be prettier. So I hope you liked it again, and I hope you'll let me know one way or the other how you found this video and whether or not you like the pattern and the design of this. Please get in touch with me if you would like at jewelrygin20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20@gmail.com. I love it when I hear from you guys. I love it when you send me pictures of what you made. You can send them to my that Gmail address, or you can post it on the library Facebook page so that they can see what's happening with our videos. I love to see it. They love to see it. We love to hear from you. And we love your feedback, criticism at all. If you have any, I want to hear about it, because there's always, always room for improvement. So let me know what you think. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye-bye.